Hey guys, Khalid from Cricket Fanatics Magazine here, and today with another episode of On Lockdown. This time I'm bringing you Coach Gio. So obviously he has his own cricket academy, etc. But he's actually in lockdown at the moment, and I had an interesting kind of challenge that he gave us all. So I'm going to explain to you basically, just maybe you can explain to the viewers actually, what is this challenge that you embarked on?
Well, maybe just give you a bit of background. I bought a golf hitting net to keep me busy during this lockdown, and I was a little bit excited to see how to set it up. So I set it up in our bedroom, and then I dropped a tennis ball and hit it with a cricket bat against it. And then I was sitting working later, and then Coco grabbed my bat, and she was like, "Hey, show me how do I do this? Maybe you could coach me over this period as a joke." And then I was busy working, so I was like, yeah, okay, cool, maybe, later on or whatever. And I thought, hey, that's a great idea. So I said to her, no, we're going to do this. So I think much to her horror, I said, you're going to learn to bat in 21 days, and we're going to show people how simple it is, or how simple our process is. It's someone who's got no cricket experience, no cricket culture, coming from Brazil, can learn to bat in 21 days, doing 20 to 25 minutes maximum a day of just hitting some balls.
Okay, awesome. So maybe give your journey a little bit to give people some background about yourself and some of the players that you've worked with. I know that I've heard great things about you from Jono, etc. So can you just maybe name a few guys that you work with and what your role is actually?
So I've been coaching for, I think it's 23 years now. I'm 40 years old. I've been running the Cricket Academy, which is my business in Cape Town, for the last 19 years. And I think what I do is different most is that since 2009, I've been incorporating performance coaching tools with the technical experience gathered over all the years. So sort of combining how you think with how you train to help players improve their performance. Locally, I've worked with Jono since he was 6 years old. I work with Neil Brandt. And then English guys, I've worked with Tom Wesley, Billy Godelman, Daniel Lawrence, Michael Richardson, Michael Pepper, Rodri Smith from Glamorgan, Ben Curran was out now. And then also started to work with guys online from abroad. So I'm working with Shan Masood from Pakistan.
Cool, that's awesome. So with regards to Coco, I'm just going to move on to you quickly. Just can you maybe give me a little bit about how the experience has been for you to learn a sport? Did you know about cricket before you took on the challenge?
No, I had no idea. I've been with Gio, I think we dated like for 5 years, and I never showed any interest about it because for me it's like such a hard technique, everything, and I was like, no, bye. I'd rather do volleyball. That it's easier for me.
So Gio, to do this, what exactly did you do? How did you set it up exactly? Take me through the days.
So day one, we just did set up with her to show her how to hold the bat and how to stand, get her stance right, and then just like a little exercise to get her just swing the bat like the most natural way to swing a bat, and just to get the feeling of that. And then from day two, we just started hitting some balls. So again, just started with grooving, getting that full natural flow of the bat going, teaching her how to unweight the bat. So we did cross bat shots first, pull shot. That's the easiest one to learn because that's the swing. But there's one swing of the cricket bat, and it's the same swing for all shots. Yeah. So we just spent time grooving the swing, and then moved on to some front foot play. She's driving really well now. She's pulling really well. And then now we're going to start looking at some, hopefully yesterday we did some back foot defense because her wrist was a bit sore, trying to do the full back foot drive.
Yeah.
That was very hard.
But yeah, so we'll just keep building from there. But it's just all about simplifying things, in that batting is made far too complicated, but too much focus on the small pieces in a moving part. But if you develop a natural swing of the bat, it makes it so much easier. And if you understand the basics of the body angles in all of the shots, then it becomes quite easy to transfer that into all of the shots. So hopefully, hopefully she'll pick up the rest of the shots in the last few days.
Yeah. Coco, what was the hardest part for you? Initially, generally speaking, I think for kids, it's normally to hold the bat because it can be an adjustment. But for you, what was the hardest part about this so far?
Well, I think if you can see the day one, I literally didn't even know how to hold the bat, and he was like, "No, just," because for me, I had this idea of baseball or I don't know. So I was like, hold it like this, and then he's like, "No," and then like he explained how. So I was like, "But that doesn't make any sense for me. Like, seems like I'm gonna fall." But then the way that he like coaches, like for me to hold it, and then it started to make a little bit of sense, even if the bat is a little bit heavier for me. But then he showed me a way of like unweighing the bat, the way that he says, that it kind of make it easy. But yeah, the first day compared to now was the funniest because I was like, oh my gosh, what did I get in myself into? So, but now it's yeah, I can hold the bat properly, I think.
It's going to be awesome if we get to see you develop, obviously, over the over this period. I'm going to obviously put this video on my website and then give all the episodes underneath, if that's okay with Gio, with regard to
Cool.
your tweets all in it, so people can go watch it back, etc. Gio, are you going to teach her other shots? Obviously, I saw a little bit of a pull coming in over there as well. Are you going to teach her other shots, the cut shot, etc., or double stepping?
So yesterday we started doing the back foot drive. Then she was bat kept hitting on her wrist somehow, so we'll have to look at that. So we just did a little bit of back foot defense yesterday. And then, I want to try and get the back foot drive going. And then, maybe a forward defense. But I mean, that should, and then we'll see. It'll be pretty challenging trying to get her to do a cut shot here because we're on a slope. And I think, a cut shot, you need more pace on the ball than pulling or driving. So that would be quite challenging. But I mean, I think she would have pretty much got everything in by the end of the 21 days. I mean, I'm not going to look at a sweep shot and stuff like that, but she'll have the basics. She can pull, she can drive. I mean, she's hitting all the drives now, cover drives, straight drives, off drives, everything on drives. So, I'll just build from that, try get the back foot drive going, and then just build a little bit more on the back foot defense from yesterday. Forward defense might be a bit challenging where we're at, but I think we could do some underarm full toss feeds for that.
Look,
oh my God. So too, because I thought I had it.
I thought I was like, that's it, boom, I'm good, bye. But like after that, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So with regards to that, I wanted to ask. So he's taught you something new. So he's obviously taught you how to drive, etc. What have you taught him now in lockdown? Is there anything that you maybe gave him, anything new that he's tried out?
That's the funny thing, because I was like, if I'm doing that, I need to learn how to cook because I cook. Nope.
Nothing. I think we should have something.
I handle
one way.
I handle the steaks in the house and the pasta, and she handles everything else.
So with regard to the 21-day challenge, what you're doing with us is also a great opportunity for younger kids, of course, to learn how they can actually use things that are in their proximity to be able to keep their skills sharp. Is there anything that you can give with regards to advice to younger kids that need to keep their skills sharp, besides the fitness regimes that everybody's been getting? Obviously, I've spoken to some semi-pro and professional cricketers that said they're getting strict fitness programs and bodyweight exercise to keep themselves fit.
Yeah.
With regards to the cricket skill side, not everybody necessarily has a massive yard to play cricket in or etc. But what sort of advice or tips could you give them?
Never discount the value of actually, I know people say it's like a bit of a joke or a cliche about shadow batting. But I mean, the reality is that our minds can't tell the difference between us actually doing something, thinking about doing it, writing about doing it, imagining ourselves doing it, talking about doing it. We contextualize and experience it in the same way. So you can still bat at home in front of a mirror. You can bat without a mirror. You can bat in your head. And just use this time to really check your fundamentals, like get in front of a mirror and check your setup and make sure that you balance, check your grip, find out what you can about, how to swing the bat. I mean, you can practice swinging, getting a nice full free flow of the bat in your home. You don't have to hit balls to do that. And if you do have a small outside space, well, you can hang a blanket or a sheet over a piece of rope, and you can hit balls into that. There's so many things that you could be doing now to improve your skills, and it's all transferable. It's just about creating the awareness. And a great way to do that is get in front of and have a look at your reflection, play your shots, see where the bat's coming through, see if the full face is coming through towards where you want to hit it. If you're playing straight bat shots, there's so many things that you could be doing just to work on your basics and your fundamentals. I mean, fundamentals are far more important than technique. If your fundamentals are good, a good technique stems as a byproduct. And, if people think that doing stuff like that is stupid, well, all the reports of Steve Smith when he was scoring tons of runs in last year's Ashes were he's batting on the bus, he's batting in the hotel corridor, we can hear his bat tapping in his room at night. The guy's just batting all day, every day in his head. So, and look at the outcomes for him. So if you're going to be disciplined enough to do it, but to actually have a purpose behind why you're doing it and understand what you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to work on, whether it's in your mind or physically shadow batting, it's going to come through in your play.
Cool. Coco, okay, I'm going to talk a little bit to you. It's not about cricket necessarily, but you mentioned that you're a Brazilian model. So I just wanted to know, what is that industry like? What has it been like? When did you move over to Cape Town, etc.? And what do you think about South Africa, etc., and Cape Town?
Sorry, say it again. So how is that? Because I couldn't hear you.
So you mentioned before about that you're a Brazilian model. I just wanted to know what that industry is like, what it has been, what your journey's been like, and how it's been. And then obviously you've moved over to South Africa. When did that happen? And are you enjoying the country? And what do you like the most about this country and Cape Town, etc.?
Yeah, so I was never like a model, let's say like that. I graduated in journalism, and then I always worked as a model because I loved it, and yeah, it was fun. But then when I moved here, when we met, and then I decided to move from Brazil, then that became like my main profession, let's say like that. Yeah. And then I created like a food business as well. But here in South Africa, well, I love the country because it's very similar to Brazil. I literally love it. But the industry itself, it's not easy because it's very seasonal, so it comes and goes. When it's winter, there's nothing here. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's a little bit complicated. So that's why I created, like with his help, my food business as well. But yeah, it's not easy, but I still love it because the landscape, everything here is just like amazing. Beautiful.
Talk a bit about your business. If you want to punt it a bit to the guys that are watching, etc., it would be awesome just so that they can know what you're doing, etc.
Yeah, so I started to go to food markets because here it's very popular. Yeah. And I have a traditional food from my hometown. I'm from the northeast of Brazil. It's called Fortaleza. So it's called tapioca. The name of the food is made of tapioca flour, and then we do kind of a crepe or a pancake out of it. We don't call it that, so we just call it tapioca. So it's a gluten-free flour, and then I just put the fillings in. So the texture is completely different, so you don't find it anywhere else besides Brazil. Okay. And I don't know, now Portugal, because there's a lot of Brazilians there. And then I always did this, and Gio was like, "Oh my gosh, you have to sell that." And I was like,
I'm a fussy eater. And I was like, okay, for a gluten-free thing, that tastes amazing. You need to sell that.
Yeah, so it's all about the consistency.
Like, this can't not be gluten-free, but it is.
People have that mentality that gluten-free is like tasteless, but actually it's not. If you just have to put a lot of flavor in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I decided to go to food markets, and then it's not mainly Brazilian thing, but the tapioca, it's my main product. And then I do all the healthy products. The focus is to being healthy, but it still like to taste good. So yeah, I do banana bread, granola, I do lots of products like vegan as well. And yeah, if people just order through Instagram or through email or Facebook. Yeah, cool. So that's what keeps me busy besides the modeling as well.
Okay, cool. You can just punt your social media so people know where they can find that, because I know my mother's she's doing the whole gluten-free thing at the moment, so it will be also fun to try it out.
Yeah, people definitely need to try. So it's @love_cooks. It's KOOXS.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Gio? I'm going to go back to you again.
Right.
Talk to me about your academy. Have you also tried to think about maybe taking it online, etc., or are you online already?
Yeah, we're online already. So I've got a, I mean, I've got a process that I've developed over the last sort of 23 years. But I think in 2018 we kind of hit like a little bit of a, with our local players, kind of like a bit of a perfect storm where in one summer I think we had 1900 scored.
Sure.
You guys scored back-to-back hundreds, and then off the back of that, that's when guys really started to, with our social media presence, players from around the world started, making inquiries. It's, something different's happening in what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So then I sat down and I mapped out our process. So there's 3 steps to our batting process. First one deals with how you think. The second one deals with how you train. And the third and final step is enhancing your skills, which are attacking, defensive, and match play skills. But I think what makes us different is that everybody else is looking at that third step as the first step to try and achieve improvements in performance. But ultimately, the ceiling that players hit on their performance is caused by the habits in how they think and the habits in how they train. So unless you address those and put good fundamentals in place there, and since we've done that, we've had, since May 2018, we've had 6,800 scored worldwide, 2 double hundreds, I think back-to-back hundreds on 8 occasions. The improvements for professionals on across all 3 formats, 37.07% above career batting averages. And that's in under 16 hours of work. So, which leads back sort of to this challenge was that
I can be a professional.
It's a 3-step simple batting process. And I was like, well, let's prove how simple this is. If someone who's never played cricket can learn to actually bat and play shots properly in 21 days, and we're only doing 20 to 25 minutes a day. And the outcomes for professionals have been, I think the improvements on the list A batting averages was 48.45% average improvement.
Sure.
And that's between 5 players. So, and all we've done is look at how they think and how they train. For those improvements, we didn't even get to enhancing skills, just bedding down good fundamentals, making sure their grip isn't limiting their scoring potential, developing a natural flow of the bat, getting them to unweight the bat, getting them to understand body angles and training point of contact. Yeah. And then if you've got all of that stuff bedded down, it transfers through into all of your strokes naturally.
Cool.
And that's it, So, yeah, we are online. Worked with guys. Geez, man, it's crazy. Australia, the United Kingdom, Norway. Trying to think where some of the weird and guys in America. I'm sure I'm forgetting some places, but it's a process where guys come in and they work with us for 16 weeks. We've got a members portal where all the content's recorded, to do live coaching calls throughout the week, and an online portal where they can submit their footage of themselves doing the drill work and get feedback. So yeah, we work on all aspects of the game, how they think, how they train, and then we help them enhance their skills. And at the end of it all, they leave with their own personalized roadmap, where to put their energy and focus, what's going to give them the best chance of being successful, and most importantly, develop some skills with them, some tools to become more aware around their thoughts and emotions, and how those impact their performance and how those impact their dismissals.
So we're gonna get into the section now where the people are starting to come in. You guys can put your comments in the comment section. I see some already in here. So let's start with Craig Sturton's question. He said, who would you say is the most talented player you've worked with and why? Now, Jay, I know it's difficult for you to answer this question, so I'm going to maybe just add something to it to make it easier for you to answer. Some cricketers say that they're not most naturally talented. They're more guys that can learn the craft. So if you speak to a guy like Dean Elgar, for example, he always says that he's not as talented as someone like A.B. de Villiers, a natural raw talent. But so let's talk about natural raw talent and who we've worked with so far.
That I've got some views on that, and I strongly believe that it all comes down to your level of exposure and what you have access to. So I don't really believe in that. Yes, some people will be more physically or genetically disposed to move and run fast and do certain things, but batting is a learned skill. And the people that make it look easy are the guys that are adhering to the fundamentals of batting. So, when you talk about naturally gifted, and I mean, I know this is something, it's a discussion I've had with Jono before, to make him understand that, people say, oh, geez, well, he's a naturally gifted athlete. Well, if you saw what Jono looked like when he was under 12 and under 13, and you look at what he looks like now, he worked bloody hard to transform himself. He was a chubby kid. Not many people know that, and not many people remember that. He dieted, he started running, he started riding his bike, he started hitting the gym, and he lost a hell of a lot of weight. I think at one stage, he lost too much weight too fast, but I think he lost nearly 13 kilos when he was under 13.
Oh,
and, then with regards to, him being a natural talent because his dad was a gifted sportsman and that playing cricket's some sort of gene that you inherit, it's absolute nonsense. You've interviewed him. He grew up on the side of a cricket field at Pinelands Cricket Club from the age of 3 or 4, watching his dad play cricket all day, every day.
Yeah.
With a bat and a ball, hitting balls, and guys were throwing balls to him. And then from the age of 6, he started coming for coaching with us, with 2 of his mates. And then from the age of 8, he started hitting balls once a week by himself, but still playing once a week with his mates. So you add all of that up, and he's been encouraged to, part of my process is encouraging a natural swing of the bat. And that's why, but people will say that he's a naturally gifted cricketer. He's worked bloody hard to develop his skills, and he's put the time and the effort in. Guys also talk about Daniel Lawrence and say, geez, he's unbelievably talented. But also, if you look into his youth background, also had access to and hit a hell of a lot of balls as a youngster. And obviously had some good guidance and figured a few things out for himself. But it all comes down to how much time you put in, and not just time, it's the quality of the time. Are you developing the right habits and the right fundamentals? And if you do that, I mean, countless guys have come in and we've worked with them. They look like robots and they look unnatural. And within 16 hours, they're playing natural, free-flowing strokes. So sorry, Craig, if that's a bit, it's quite a long answer. But, cricket talent is, if we're talking about sprinting and things like that, and speed, also to a certain degree, fast bowling, yes, but also no, because people are realizing that you can be coached to bowl faster, but there's going to be a ceiling on that to your genetics. But when it comes to something like batting, it's all about developing good fundamentals, how much time you put into it. And then there are things like, okay, well, what's your eyesight like? Yes, that's going to have an impact on, your ability to see and react to the ball. But again, when we're getting to express speeds, you actually can't even see the ball.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of information there for you, Craig. And yes, sorry, hello, Craig. Craig used to come for coaching, and so did his brother. If it is the right Craig, his brother Richard.
Yeah, same. So this kind of ties into Ali's question over here, because he asked who's the hardest working player that you played with, but you kind of explained it now, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, look, Jono is definitely up there with the hardest working for what he does, the time he puts in. Also, Billy Godelman works incredibly hard, and not just, when we talk about working hard, spending time developing your mind. Everybody hears the cliche, batting is 95% between your ears, but how much time are guys working on developing the skills and habits that are going to help you be successful?
Yeah.
How much training are you doing on your mind? Everybody's just in the net hitting balls. A lot of guys aimlessly hitting balls.
Yeah. And that ties into the next question, actually, because it's one that I talk about a lot, and I asked Ashwell Prince about it as well, about the mindset and import. You have some certain players that have a mentality that is just different to others, and some people are born with it, some people are not. And that's something I want to ask you as a coach. What do you think about on-field mindset, and is it something that can be coached or guided in a way?
I think it's about developing the right habits. So, again, this thing that people are born with it. I mean, it's absolute nonsense. You're a product of the environment that you grow up in. So, personalities are largely formed up to the age of 7. So, I mean, I think the Jesuits say, show me the child at 7, or show me the child at 7 and I'll show you the man. So those early formative years are where you develop your personality, and that's where competitiveness comes from. It's got a lot to do with the environment that you grow up in. But that said, it is possible, and you certainly can, because part of the work that we do with players is, well, what sort of decisions and what sort of thoughts and emotions are tripping you up out in the middle, and then help them develop some tools to manage them. And it all starts with awareness. You can only make improvements and changes once you become aware of why you want to make the changes, what those current habits are doing to your performance, and then what's the motivation behind making the change. And then it just comes down to your what, why, and how. What do you want to change? Why do you want to change it? And then once you know that, the how becomes pretty easy. That's the last thing, but everybody else looks at the how first. How am I going to do this? But if you haven't got the what and the why, the how becomes quite insignificant.
Yeah. Okay, so that's an awesome answer. I'll move on to the next one, and that's from Stefan. Yeah, he wants to know, what level did you personally play at when you started playing cricket?
So I played some age group provincial stuff at school. I captained Western Province Cricket Club first side for a number of years. But yeah, the highest level I played out of school was Premier Division club cricket in Cape Town. I stopped playing in 2012, but I started coaching straight out of school. So I'm 40 now. I've been coaching for 23 years.
Awesome. And another one he asked, he said, how old is Ollie, one of your boys, now, and where is he playing?
I think he means Ollie Whitehead. Ollie is under 15 now. He's at Saks.
Cool. Awesome. So you primarily, you work with a lot of the guys at the boys' schools. Do people approach you, or do you also try and scout some guys to help out at some certain games, etc.?
No, it's just largely the majority of our clients come through word of mouth. So, I mean, there's me, and during summer we'll have 7 or 8 other coaches also working at the Cricket Academy, and it's largely mainly through word of mouth. Cool. And your clients' performances are your best testimony. So if you're able to help guys be consistent and improve their performance, then other people start to take notice and start to come. So yeah, it's mainly word of mouth. But as do we scout or approach players? No, not really. I mean, if guys are working with somebody else, we certainly don't go and approach them and say, hey, you should be coming to us. We're quite active on social media. We put what we do out there, why what we do is different. And if people want to come and work with us, that's great. And if not, that's also great.
Cool. So we've spoken about both of your businesses, etc., some of your upbringing, etc. Let's go into more of a sort of fun type of questions. Besides all this cricket that's happening in the household, what else do you guys like to get up to during this lockdown period? And are you just continuing the hobbies from before? So let's start with Coco. What are some of the things that you like to do besides your business, of course?
Well, I'm still I'm learning French. That's a new thing for me. Actually, I did French like a while ago, and then I was like, you know what? I have plenty of time now, so I'm gonna do this properly. So I'm literally doing every day. And besides, like creating new recipes, trying to work out, and I'm working with essential oils as well. It's called doTERRA. So everything that keeps my mind busy and I don't go crazy. But yeah.
So I think the next challenge will be when the 14 days starts. I think it's the Gio 14-day cooking challenge. I think that's going to be a great idea that will do wonders on your platform. But Gio, what's the stuff that you like to do in your pastime? Any Netflix shows?
I play golf on the weekend. So lockdown now, that's why we have the net. So I was like, geez, I need to be able to do something. So I went out, got the nets, I hit some golf balls, we've got a putting mat, doing a bit of reading. And then the rest of the time has literally been just creating more content, finishing up all of the training videos for our online platform. I've completed 2 ebooks during this time. And then, yeah, just dealing with, and then the majority of the time also I'm just on batting consultations with people from all over the world. So inquiries are coming in, and trying to do like 3 or 4 45-minute consults a day with people, and then before you know it, the whole day's gone.
Yeah.
I run some stairs. I try to do a little bit of a stretch in the morning. Meditate in the morning. Yes, every day. Yeah, but you keep busy. But it is getting a little bit. I mean, look, we're in an apartment, but fortunately we've got like a sort of parking space in the front. That's where we're hitting balls. So, I mean, we're fortunate we've got some outdoor space and area, but it is getting a little bit like starting to feel a bit not with each other.
Just when I have the bats, and then I'm
just when she has a bat, she gets a little bit angry sometimes.
Yeah, I can get quite claustrophobic. I try to keep myself busy as well. This lockdown challenge keeps me quite busy. This not lockdown challenge, but this lockdown series keeps me quite busy every single day. I mean, there's a lot of
doing one a day.
Yeah, I kind of do one a day. So I started off with Bonga Makaka, and then moved on to Eddie Moore from the Warriors. I've had Sibs Makanya on, Vincent Barnes, Prince, of course, Zubair Hamza, Calvarena, Lian Bota. So I try to get on someone every single day. And I wanted your one as almost like a break from the rest, man, because it was a more fun and different type of role in cricket. Because I want to try to get, like, you're a coach, you're a professional coach. You're not a coach that works for a province or works for a franchise, etc. So it was awesome to actually hear from you and chat about that. There's some more questions in here for you. Another one from Craig. You wanted to know with regards to golf, where are you a member and what handicap are you?
I'm a member at Royal Cape, and geez, I don't know. I had a terrible month before it's blown out. I kind of fluctuate between 12.5 and 15, but I think I'm close to the 15 at the moment. Hence the hitting net and the me working on my skills during this time.
Cool. That one is a bit interesting. I'm thinking of the 1999 team, best SA, because CSA set up the team only to take #1 spot on the win in the ICC trophy. What do you think? I'm not really understanding that question, really.
Yeah. No, I think he's trying to ask. He's saying his best team for SA was like after '99. Yeah, I don't really have a.
I don't have a little opinion on that. Different eras of set.
We had a really good team between probably from 2003 onwards. You know, we had a really good run there. Yeah, with Graham and Mark and Dale and Jacques and Hashim. And
I mean, if you speak to some people, if you speak to some coaches and people that have worked with the Proteas, they'll tell you that probably one of the best teams as well is the 2011 or the 2015 team. It was quite talented. I think that 2015 World Cup was hard. I mean, every single World Cup exit was heartbreaking. Something always happened that was dramatic. But I think South Africa seems to have produced quite a lot of talented teams over the time. We're trying to get more Lance Kloosner on the show sometime this week. Hopefully he can confirm that with us, so that will be an awesome one. Yeah, Craig again saying Richard found way the best coaching he had. So that's an awesome.
Thanks, Craig. Thank you, Richard.
So thanks a lot, Gio, for this. This was awesome. A new, fresh interview for me. Thank you, Coco, for joining as well, for making it exciting as well.
Thanks.
I hope you guys. Yeah, we're gonna keep up. I'm gonna have another chat with you sometime. Of course, maybe we can have some discussions going forward about other things as well. But thank you for coming on the show. Good luck with your batting. Get him on that cooking challenge as well. Hashtag it and everything. Tag us in so we can promote it. But all the best.
Cool. Thanks, David.
Yeah, thank you.
Great
so
to
much.
chat.
Yeah.
No problem, man. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Cheers.
Cool.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, man.